I am Grady Collane, the CapeCod.com News Center, joined by a special guest from the Cultural Center of Cape Cod. Christine, you are a new guest for your new leadership. Not really a guest, but you're a guest to me, but new leadership for the organization. Do you mind introducing yourself for our listeners?
Sure, Grady. I'm Christine Ernst. I live in Sandwich, and I'm delighted to come on board
All
at
right,
the Cultural
awesome.
Center.
As well, Molly, we have another guest. Do you mind introducing yourself?
Sure, Molly Demeulenaere. I'm Executive Director here at the Cultural Center of Cape Cod, and we're just so pleased to be able to share this great news with you today, Grady. Thanks.
All right, awesome. Now, Christine, you're the new director of learning, I hear. Do you mind just
Mhm.
telling us a little bit more about what that role entails and maybe some of the experience you're going to be bringing to that position?
Sure, sure. I'll be in charge of programming the education offerings at the Cultural Center, new initiatives, engaging new instructors, engaging new students, young people, families. It's exciting. There's such beautiful energy at the Cultural Center, and they have the campus in Yarmouth as well as the new campus downtown Hyannis at the Geyer Barn. There's so much happening. I can't wait to just jump in. I come from 6 years as education director at Cotuit Center for the Arts. And that was another robust education system where we ran about 140 hours of education hours across 5 or 6 spaces every week. There are more spaces at the Cultural Center. There are 2 campuses. There are more students. There's more faculty. There are broader offerings. I just my mouth is watering as I speak.
I can't wait to sink your fingers into there. So
Oh,
you're no stranger to the Cape Cod Islands like cultural scene. Then, is there something unique about the Cape that you've been noticing? Like, do you factor in like demographics in your head? I know we have kind of an older county, but maybe
mm,
is there a different appreciation for the arts for the Cape
oh.
versus other locations?
Well, there's so much on Cape Cod for art. There's so many theaters. There's so many cultural centers. It's really baked into the culture already here. And most of these outlets serve a lot of older retirees and wealthy folk. And as I see it, we're not doing such a great job as to serve younger families, young people, people of color. Uh, I think we're all agreed that we need to be more accessible. We need to be deeper. We need to increase our outreach. So like there's
Yeah.
already so much in place, and I feel it's not exactly low hanging fruit, but it's challenging to reach certain populations. So we have our work cut. I have my work cut out for me.
Sure, sounds good. So what do you think is going to be involved? I mean, you're obviously just stepping into the role. I don't expect a play-by-play PowerPoint presentation or anything. But maybe some ideas that you might have? Do you think digital outreach, just like general posters around town, or do you think word of mouth? Like, how do you think you're going to
Oh,
need to reach out to some of these people?
Um, it's all of that. It's really about relationships. I have to get out there. I have to meet the students. I have to meet the faculty. I have to meet community builders. I have to know where the paper clips are. I have to know how to use the printer. I have to utilize all the tools that are available at the cultural center.
Mhm.
Um, it's uh, it's hard to tell you how excited I am because I love people. I love organizing data. I love I'm a creative, so I love building successful programs, and I love solving problems. So or like I love doing like crossword puzzles and logic puzzles.
Mhm.
So there's and it, not that there's anything to solve, but there's already such a great platform to build upon. I feel like there's just tremendous potential and opportunity, and I'm excited to try to get in there and be an agent of that kind of growth.
All right. An agent of change. I love it. Just a word of warning. I think I've been working at my local place long enough. I still don't know where the paper clips are. So hopefully someone will be able to tell me at some point now that we've had this conversation about it. But that is awesome. Congratulations. Good luck to you as well. So Molly, I had a couple questions for you really,
Of
I guess as
course.
well, like how you guys feel about Christine stepping in, exciting new role. I mean, of course, not to go over the interview process again, but like what's some of the stuff that she's bringing to the table you're excited about?
Yeah, I mean, it's a really important piece of our organization, right? Education is the nexus of the cultural center, and really expanding minds, making people curious about the world around them and how they fit into this rotating orb. So, for us, Christine was really our candidate. As soon as we had the conversation about her being interested in the position, we just knew that we had the right fit. She knows Cape Cod really well, which is challenging, right? Bringing someone onto the Cape is not an easy thing to do. Between housing and just the culture of Cape Cod and people really understanding the culture of how people work on the Cape is challenging, but also her amazing breadth of experience as a creative, as an educator, as a writer. And we just are excited to have her energy coming to the Cultural Center. Diane Giardi, who's retiring, has done such amazing work during her tenure to really expand our education programs beyond just what you would think of as fine arts and really moving into literary arts and even health and wellness. We have a class going on right this second, actually, of laughing, and aging and how do you age well. And so it really runs the gamut. And as we work more with schools and really push toward more K through 12 education and family-based programming, this multi-generational programming that happens in the center, right, where you have grandparents and grandkids and their kids, it's like this really beautiful mixture of people. Christine just brings a wealth of knowledge of how to connect with those audiences. We've just kind of made our entry into downtown Hyannis, right? And that is really all about families. We're on a 3-month listening tour where we ask the people what they're looking for, and they're hungry for year-round accessible programming. It doesn't exist in Hyannis right now, and they've told us that over many, many surveys that went out. So we're just excited to fill that void and give parents healthy, enriching opportunities for their children in a safe, really wholesome, but creative environment.
All right, awesome. Now, as
Yeah.
well, for people who might be a little bit not as familiar with kind of what you guys offer, do you mind kind of just running through some examples as well, maybe some of the stuff you're excited for in this upcoming summer season? People probably excited to get out of their houses. I know I am. So, can you give us a couple of examples of what people can find with the Cultural Center?
Absolutely. We are kind of built on a 3-tier system. So we have our exhibitions in our different galleries, we have our music and live events, and then we have our education programs. And we really look at this as a 360 opportunity to work with people. So we've got an exhibition coming up around climate change and your role in how to make the world a better place. And so that is partnered with amazing programming, including this composer who utilizes the energy and sound waves from trees. Scooby Lepowski's coming from Cambridge to do a performance, and he'll have a sound installation on site. And then, of course, wrapping programming around that, right? So educational programming where kids can come from different classrooms. You can bring your science class, or you can bring your art class, right? Or you can bring your literary class and learn something at the cultural center. So that's really exciting. And this summer is going to be just fun, fun, fun. It's all around the Wizard of Oz, and there's no place like home. And so programming and art throughout the entire campus, and actually both campuses. We also do kind of fun things where we take people. I'm taking 24 people to the south of France this summer on a cultural immersion trip. So 2 trips back to back. And I co-lead the trip with Susan Overstreet, who's our artist educator in residence. And we take people, we've been in French classes for 6 months because we don't want to be the Americans who don't know any French when we show up. And we take our chef with us, and we just dive into the culture. This year is in the south of France. So you can really plug in and engage, or you can unplug and enjoy things that are happening here at the Cultural Center of Cape Cod.
All right, awesome. Not to play favorites, but as a journalist, I'm always, personally a fan of like the writing and literature. And it's nice to see that's not getting lost amongst the arts tag. But it's all very interesting as well. We were talking a little bit off microphone before we started, and you mentioned culinary arts. In addition to some of your stuff, do you mind highlighting some of the other more, other crazy things you got going on there too?
Absolutely. We have 4 chefs that work out of our kitchen. And so it's basically 7 days a week now. People are enjoying the culinary arts here at the center. Chef Joe Szynski is doing these really incredible in-kitchen dinners, right? So there's 10 people in the kitchen as he's cooking this delicious meal for you. Right now he's doing this quite spring, summery flavor around white asparagus and the tastes of the south of France. We're also opening a supper club this summer, which is really exciting, called Palette, playing off the artist palette and the culinary palette. So every Friday and Saturday night, people will be able to reserve a table, and they can come anytime between 5:30 and 8 p.m. So that's really exciting, and that is led by Chef Nick Caplice. And then we have interesting chefs that are working specifically with Lebanese food, and they're doing hands-on cooking classes. And we have 2 new bakers that have just come on, and they're doing really fun cakes and cookies. So we like to eat around here.
I can't blame
You'll
you
have
either
to
way.
come to dinner with us, Grady.
I'm making a very poor decision. We're having this conversation just before lunchtime for me, and now I'm filled with regret rather than food, and I'm very disappointed about that. So, but thank you for the invitation. All right, we're about coming up on time, but it's all very exciting. I'm assuming summer in general is just like such a swamped time for you all. What time is the transition from winter to summer for you? Are you already kind of like feet hitting the ground running? When is the transition point for you, really?
We don't really slow down much. We close for
Oh,
2 weeks, the last 2 weeks of the year, but our shoulder seasons are sometimes the strongest for us because they're dark and cold months on the Cape, and we're really supported by year-round local residents. So sometimes our year-rounders kind of retreat a little bit during the summer as their homes are taken over by guests. So we may not see them as much in the summer, so our audience changes a little, but we are busy year-round. And this year is our first full year of children's programming, which is happening mostly in the Hyannis location in our High Arts Programming Annex. So half-day camps for kids all summer, which is going to be just wonderful, and everything from mermaids to tree houses to indigenous peoples, and it's just an electric summer of activity.
awesome. Now, is what you kind of mentioned as this Hyannis Center, that's new. That's a new acquisition for you guys. Can you elaborate a little bit more for us?
The High Arts campus is up.
Yeah, that you were kind of
Yes.
expanding out with that through surveys and stuff like that. Can you just talk about like how that's been new additions that have been provided?
Absolutely. So we are in partnership with the town of Barnstable to program the High Arts, what they have always called as a High Arts campus. So it's the Geyer Barn. We're also building out a glass studio, so people will be able to go in. There'll be 6 torch stations and really learn how to use glass. So lamp working, slumping, stained glass. And then there's an artist in residence program that we're working with the town on as well. So we're bringing in an arts educator in residence this summer that will be here all summer working and teaching in the community, giving back to the community. That's really a big part of what's happening in the Hyannis campus as well. So it's not just classes, just for art class sake, right? It's really making sure that we're meeting the people where they are and filling that need. And so it's just been a really exciting, the town has been amazing to work with, honestly. We're really lucky to have Arts Barnstable and Melissa to work with there. And yeah, it's lots of programming.
Yeah, it sounds good. I mean, I'm sure all this kind of works out for like Cape Cod Chamber of Commerce as well has been talking about the summer season coming, and I'm in full visitor tourist mode as of late when it comes to these shows. So I'm sure that all of that is really just kind of like it. I mean, it boosts a desire to come and stay, like in terms of
Absolutely.
hospitality industry.
And if you're a biker, you can join Second Summer Cycle. So the Cultural
Ooh.
Center is a beneficiary of the ride again this year. So if you're a cyclist, you can sign up for 30 or 60 or 100 miles. So that's also happening this summer.
A bit far for people like me, but I will be supporting from the sideline. You go. Yeah, that's awesome. All right, we're about coming up on time. I appreciate you both having this conversation with me. It has been a pleasure. Before we wrap up and end, is there anything else you wanted to add for our listeners? Molly, while I still have you, Christine, I'll also come to you for a couple more comments as well, but just to stay on Molly for a moment. Anything else you want our listeners to be aware of?
We're just grateful to be able to share the good work that's happening at the center, and we're thrilled that Christine's coming on. And I'm grateful to my entire team. And yeah, we love collaborating with partners, and that's just going to continue. So thank you.
Yeah, that's awesome, Christine. Thank you as well for having this conversation with me. Good luck to you, and thank you for joining this new role and telling us a little bit more about it. Anything exciting that you wanted to highlight for our listeners while they still have you, or something you're
Um,
looking forward to beat feet on as soon as we wrap up with this video?
Oh, thanks so much, Grady. I just can't wait to get in there and get started. And if you're an instructor out there, if you're a student out there, hit me up, give me a call, come and visit me. I don't know. I want a marching band, Molly. I want I
We'll get you
want
a parade.
bagpipe classes. I'm just excited for what we're all going to do together.
Yeah, that's awesome. So, you know what? Pie in the sky dreams. Money is no object. We have infinite time, but we have housing. We're gonna set the instructor up in a shed out back. What is like the weirdest thing that you'd want to introduce to the cultural center in terms of classes that you think would be fun, or just like some new
Oh,
ideas?
the weirdest thing,
The weirdest thing.
a bagpipe orchestra. Um,
Okay, yeah, that's maybe
um,
we've gone
okay,
too far. I
okay.
regret this question.
A weaving studio. Oh gosh, resident artists. A
Resident
school.
artists.
An arts-based preschool, an
Ooh,
arts-based high school.
yeah.
There's oh gosh, there's so much potential. There's
Oh,
so
yeah,
much
that's really
creative things.
interesting. We've had childcare on the brain as well because Healy was just on Cape at the YMCA. Of course, we just wrapped up a conversation with Stacy Pugh there, so big thank you to her. But we talked about childcare and as well Michael Alba with the Cape Symphony. Last time he was on for Sunday Journal, he actually mentioned like, yeah, people don't know that we actually provide like school for like pretty much every age group. Do you think that there's actually does it sound like there's really some opportunity there, Christine, in terms of like
Oh,
introducing kids more?
oh, absolutely. Especially when public schools, like the first thing to cut is the arts. We fill such an important space to support communities and schools with extra programming, with programming that we can bring to them. We can develop for their school, for their exact needs. Hmm, yeah, we
Like,
just
I know there was the push for STEM lasted for decades, and now I'm starting to notice a lot of schools kind of walking back a little bit. STEM has become STEAM to introduce the
mhm,
A back in for arts, just because it seemed like a
mhm,
lot of funding was starting to disappear for things that both parents and
mhm,
children's really do enjoy. It
yeah.
seemed to be pretty important. So that is awesome. But thank you again for both joining me for this conversation. Really appreciate it, and good luck to you both for this upcoming summer season.
Thank you
Thanks,
so much,
Brady.
Grady.
I'm Grady Collane in the CapeCod.com News Center, and thank you for listening.